Are we ready? We got some good ones here. Mad Abouts, number one. I tell you, I had so many St. John fans call me there on Friday night when Carlos Boozer, the two kids, of course, good kids, handled themselves well all weekend. But when they beat St. John's in a very close game the other night, this is the game Friday in the Regional 16 game. Look at this. Look at this. You don't act like that. I mean, he's waving goodbye to the St. John's fans who are sitting in the other end of the arena. That's a 20-year-old doing that who's had too many beers. That is not the right thing to do in a game that could have gone either way. Very close game. I mean, he did it all. I had so many St. John. That is a classless thing to do. And you know what? Karma came back to bite him in the rear end. And this is why everybody hates Duke. You will not find anybody who's neutral rooting for Duke. It never happens. And what happened the other day? They blow an incredible lead, one of the worst losses in the history of the NCAA tournament. They had a 19-point lead. We know that, 15-point lead at the half. They had the ball at 10 seconds to go. All they had to do was hold the ball, get fouled, make a one-on-one, and the game is over, and they're passing the ball all over the place. Mind-bogglingly stupid. And you know what? How about CBS? When we went all weekend and showed us every 5 seconds Boozer watching his two kids, how come he didn't see CBS go to show Boozer late on Sunday night when his team blew the game? And his young kid, who's a good kid, I hate to even bring him in, makes the bad pass. Why didn't CBS cameras go show Boozer then, and then he can wave goodbye to his Duke fans? That really bothered me on Friday night. To do that to St. John's, that was the wrong thing. And it came back to bite Duke in the fanny, which everybody loved in sports. That's number one.
Steve, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, please.
No, nonsense.
Oh, stop. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. You're such a Grinch. You're such a curmudgeon. You got to be kidding me. Now, I do agree with you about CBS. If you're going to show him waving goodbye to St. John's in the Sweet 16, you could have turned around and showed him after Caden Boozer made the turnover and UConn and Mullins hit that game-winning shot. I mean, fair is fair. But that ain't Carlos Boozer's fault. That's CBS's fault for not making sure to be fair enough. If you're going to show them when they winning, show them when they lost, too. They should have done that. But I got no problems with Carlos Boozer. He's a retired NBA player. He was a big-time Dookie. He was sitting in the stands, enjoying himself and enjoying his sons balling and winning. I got no issues with it whatsoever. He was a fan sitting in the stands. It's no problem. It's no problem at all.
I agree with Stevie here. Stevie's right. Stevie's right.
I like, who cares? He's a competitive guy. My husband would do the same thing if my son.
I was like, I would do the same thing.
Bye-bye.
Yes, Kimberly would do it. Kimberly would do it. Definitely. Kimberly would do it.
You won't find me trash talking Carlos Boozer. He's my dog.
Oh, man, not bothered. All right, number two. Didn't the NFL learn in 2012 that these replacement officials do not work? Does anybody remember the failed Mary? This was an ESPN game. Tirico had the call. This is Russell Wilson against Green Bay. It's the first game. It may have not been the first game of the year. It may have been the second, third game of the year. But the Hail Mary in the end zone with Lockett, they didn't know if it was a touchdown. There. One guy, look at this. One guy waves it off. That was the biggest embarrassment. And then 5 minutes later, finally the NFL made a deal with the officials, and they brought them back on the field, and away we went. What is the NFL doing right now, screwing around with this CBA deal with the Referees Association? They have more money, unbelievable amount of money with betting, gambling, FanDuel, all this nonsense. And they're going to sit there and they're going to bring in replacement refs, scab refs. They're going to bring them in crossing picket lines, and then they're going to sort of train them how to officiate an NFL game because the NFL officials want a 10% raise and the NFL only wants to give them a 6% raise. I mean, you got to be kidding me. The NFL that prints money. Prints it. They got more money than God, and we're gonna nickel and dime NFL. I understand that we can scream and yell about NFL referees all night, every week. I get that. But still, you're going to bring some college or some high school guy to officiate a Sunday night game or a Monday night game with Buck and Aikman, and they screw up the game with a call? You're going to have all of America scream because they lost money on the game. Because some kid who doesn't know how to officiate, you're not going to teach him how to do it in June. And the lights are on, that's when you learn. And he's going to screw up, cost the team the game, and the NFL is going to be embarrassed all over the place. And the NFL prints money. And they're going to quibble. Get the deal signed. This This is mind-bogglingly stupid by Roger Goodell. That is item number 2.
Agree.
Yeah, agreed. Steven?
Agreed. Nothing to agree. I mean, I don't appreciate you calling the commissioner stupid. I mean, let's show some
said
respect.
this is stupid.
But the
I didn't call
bottom-
him stupid. I said
all right,
this is stupid.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But I would say to you, the last thing the NFL needs is an officiating issue. You have enough officiating issues with the guys that really, really know what they're doing. To bring in scabs to officiate, that would be a disaster for the NFL.
Okay, number 2. Number 3. Thank you there, Kimberly. You agree too?
I agree with you.
Thank you. All right, good.
Finally.
Excellent. All right, number 3. Give Kyle Shanahan all the credit in the world. Did you see Shanahan this week at the Biltmore? Kimberly was at the Biltmore this week. And
She was.
I don't. When ESPN sends me, I'm at the Motel 6 near Sky Harbor Airport.
Yeah, flying
Not her.
private at the Motel
I couldn't believe it. Kimberly at the free. Anyway, make a long story short, Kyle Shanahan is my hero because I love him anyway, the 49ers head coach. Did you see what he said about the Niner-Ram first Friday night game of the year when I got to go to Australia? He said, this is stupid. I'm going to spend a week in Australia, fly 17 hours to play the opener, and then come back and play week 2. And it says, that's not fair to us. We got to play 2 international games this year. He said, I got to go to Australia. I understand globalization, but this is mind-boggling. And good for Shanahan, because the NFL playing Rams and Niners around the world. You know how far it is? It's a 16-hour plane ride from L.A., San Francisco to Melbourne. It's a long way. And the game is going to be played at 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's on 8:35 at night in America, the night before. So they're going to play a game at 10:35 in the morning local time. And then they're going to fly back to America and play in week 2. Patrick McEnroe, you know him, he works for ESPN. He tells me all the time when he covers the Australian Open, it takes him 6 days to get over jet lag. And believe me, this idea that the NFL people care about in Australia, care about football, I lived in Australia. 1980, I went to school at University of Sydney. Every Monday, Tuesday, every day of the week, I leave French's Forest. I take a little town in New South Wales. I take a little bus to the Chatswood train station, and I would take the Chatswood train station train to Sydney, over Sydney Harbour, that bridge where the Sydney Opera House is. You've all seen it. I know, of course, Kimberly's been there. And then I get ready to go to school. And every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I buy my Sydney Morning Herald newspaper. You know I love the newspapers. And as a 20-year-old, I get in that train. I couldn't find an NFL football score no matter what I did. They don't care about football in Australia, for crying out loud.
In
If I wanted to
1980?
see Browns Chargers
In
on a Monday night game,
1980?
I couldn't find the score. Nowhere. There was no scores anywhere. I found baseball scores. I found hockey. They could care less about the National Football League.
40 years ago?
Well, I'm not that old. Anyway, to make a long story short, Shanahan now has to go 16 hours away, play in Melbourne, Australia. They show up because to give away the tickets, but nobody in Australia cares about the National Football League, and I can prove it because I can never get a Sunday score
In
the Sydney
1980.
Morning Herald.
In 1980.
Number 3. In 1980, as a 21-year-old.
I beg to disagree. We got some kickers now coming over from Australia. Got some kickers that are dabbling in the waters. College and NFL.
This man just gave us a diatribe on national television about a place that he lived in 46 years ago. As if times have not changed, okay? That's Doggy. By the way, Doggy, if the NFL is clearly aiming to globalize its brand, if it wasn't working, they wouldn't be doing it. And let's not forget the popularity, the overwhelming popularity of flag football. The more football you see, the more people become interested in it, the more the chance the sport has of continuing to thrive down the line. That's what they're doing, and evidently it's working.
Strike. Yeah.
There it is. All right, after
Take it away.